Hi, hello, my name is Gomer Joseph. I hope you've all been having a great day so far. Welcome back to another True Crime Tuesdays video. If you are new, I welcome you. Today, I'll be discussing a requested case of the tragic case of Lauren Phelps. As I researched Lauren's story, I found it to be troubling and heartbreaking. Lauren wanted out of life what so many people hope and even pray for. Yet her life was taken in the most brutal way by the very person who was supposed to protect her. Now, I encourage you all to do your own research with this case, not just look at my video for all of the information. Here we go. Lauren Phelps was born as Lauren Hugelmeyer in June 9th of 1988 in Los Angeles, California, to Dale and Laurie Hugelmeyer. Now, Lauren, she had two sisters. Her sisters' names were Beth and Brianna. As for Lauren, family was very important to her. She was known to be full of life. She was known to have enjoyed helping others. Lauren she enjoyed working in the children's ministries at her church. She was known to have a big smile, and Lauren, she was ambitious and had dreams of running her own business someday. During middle school, she met a guy named Matthew Phelps. Now, after middle school, I don't think that they went to high school together, but eventually these two would lose touch, but they would reconnect later on in life. As they connected, Lauren and Matthew had romantic feelings towards one another, and they would eventually get married. Now, you would think that, you're married to somebody that you knew in like your childhood basically, and you would think that this would be, a wedding of not pure happiness, because every marriage has their ups and downs, but you just thought that this would be the sort of marriage that would just make it. But yet Lauren and Matthew's marriage was definitely far from perfect. It was truly taking a turn to the worst, pretty much because of financial issues. And the financial issues were made because of Matthew's choices. Now, Matthew, he was spending more than he made. He would go ahead and spend a lot of his money on iTunes and Xbox subscriptions. The reason why he was, paying so much money on Xbox subscriptions is because he had a serious video game addiction. Now let's go ahead and backtrack a little bit to Matthew's life. Now, his childhood really wasn't easy. Not that, I ever use somebody's tragic past as an excuse for their current actions, but there seems to have been a reason for his behavior as an adult. Matthew was born to a teen single mom, and since she had her own issues, she wasn't really able to raise Matthew, so Matthew had to be raised by his grandparents. As Matthew grew up, he began to battle with depression and anxiety, and as he reached his teen years, he would constantly use cold medicine, even though, he didn't need to use it as many times as he did. Now, just really keep a mental note on when I say cold medicine later on in this video. And actually, before Matthew married Lauren, he was actually married to another woman, but that marriage ended, and it ended badly because, according to Matthew's first wife, he was being violent towards her. Now, I don't believe that Lauren, I would assume that she had to have known that her husband was married to somebody else prior, but I don't know if she really knew the extent to how, toxic this marriage was, because, if she did, then I doubt that she would have married Matthew in the first place. Now let's get back to the couple's financial issues, and because Lauren and Matthew are facing these serious financial issues, Lauren was forced to work two jobs, and the wife was working two jobs when it's really the husband's job to provide for the family, but instead she was, the one who was making the choice to work two jobs because of her husband's spending habits. Because of these issues, Lauren was considering the option of leaving Matthew. Now, on September 1st, 2017, Lauren is 29 years old at this point, and she and Matthew are living in Raleigh, North Carolina. About this time, they have been married for 10 months, and of course, that's really a short amount of time to be having such serious issues like this, and for Lauren to even be considering to divorce Matthew. As for Matthew, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he was still attending Bible college or if he had attended Bible college. Pretty much, Matthew had this goal of becoming a pastor, but yet I don't see the Lord calling him to be a pastor because we already know that he has these spending habits. We already know that he is addicted to playing video games, and he doesn't know, again, he doesn't know how to manage his money well. He's allowing his wife to work two jobs, and he had a prior marriage where allegedly he was really violent towards his first wife. And what's even weird was that he was obsessed with this movie. I've never seen it, but he was obsessed with this movie called American Psycho. So yeah, this isn't the sort of personality that I would want to see in a pastor. Unfortunately, that night on September 1st of 2017, Matthew would go on to make a disturbing 911 call. In the 911 call, he tells the 911 operator that Lauren is no longer alive. He goes on to explain that Lauren's life was taken due to someone taking her life with a knife. Most of all, he knew exactly who did it. Matthew admitted on the 911 call that he was the one who brutally took his wife's life. The reason he gives for this is that he lost his mind due to taking cold medicine. The police arrive. Matthew has his confession, so he is arrested and charged for taking Lauren's life. Once the family got word that Lauren was no longer alive, of course, they were absolutely devastated and even horrified by what Matthew Phelps did to Lauren. And they did hear, Matthew's claim of just going out of his mind after taking cold medicine, but Lauren's family wasn't buying this excuse of him losing his mind and going crazy due to just taking cold medicine. And like I mentioned before, he would constantly use it to go ahead and make himself feel good, to go ahead and help with his, mental issues. But I mean, you've been taking cold medicine ever since you've been a teenager, yet there was no, other than the fact that he was hurting his first wife, but he never really, there was no other case of him just having blind rage and not knowing what he's doing due to constantly using cold medicine in the past. So why would you just randomly take your own wife's life at that moment? An autopsy was done on Lauren's body, and it just breaks my heart to just know that Lauren did all that she could to fight off Matthew, her husband, to fight him off as hard as she could to save her life, but unfortunately, she lost the fight against her husband. Now, there are researchers, and I believe this was from Matthew's defense, there are researchers who did claim that if somebody did use cold medicine as often as Matthew did, then it is possible for them to hallucinate. And there were those in Matthew's life, of course, you know somebody for a long time, you care about this person, you don't want to believe that they can go ahead and be the sort of monster that you're being told that he is. And of course they were shocked, Matthew, he admitted to what he did to Lauren, so there was no denying that he hurt Lauren. But again, he stated that he took cold medicine and went out of his mind, so people in Matthew's life just decided to believe him. Eventually there was a trial, and of course Matthew Phelps, tough past was brought up. Not only was his childhood brought up, but of course, everything that went on in his toxic first marriage was brought up as well. Now, according to the defense, they claimed that his first marriage ended because his first wife was unfaithful. There were also tests done on Matthew, and according to the tests, it stated that he did take cold medicine the night that he took Lauren's life, but he didn't take enough cold medicine to make him go crazy or even hallucinate. Now, eventually, Phelps would plead guilty, and after pleading guilty, he was sentenced to life in prison. This year, Lauren would have been 36 years old if she was still alive today. She had her whole life ahead of her. But unfortunately, she fell victim to her husband's internal struggles. Thankfully, Matthew will be spending the rest of his days in prison, but if he does not repent of his sins and trust in Jesus Christ alone to save him, then he will be punished for all of eternity for what he did to his wife. I do pray that God would comfort Lauren's loved ones and that they would seek God as they continue to mourn Lauren. I thank you all for taking the time in your day to watch this video. If you did like this video, please feel free to hit the like button. If you have any thoughts on this case at all, please leave your thoughts in the comment section below. If you'd like to see more videos from me, please feel free to subscribe and click the bell to be notified about the next video. If there is a certain true crime case that you would like me to cover, go ahead and let me know. I will see y'all for next True Crime Tuesdays, and I will talk to y'all later.